Right. I have an LLC, C Corp with an accountable plan, including medical reimbursements. I have a high deductible insurance plan and an HSA. Would it make sense to use the medical reimbursement from the C Corp for uncovered medical expenses instead of paying with the HSA, letting the HSA continue to grow?
So the simple direct answer is yes. And yes, you can do that. You can have the medical reimbursement and an HSA. The more complicated, strung out answer is that sometimes you have to have a special type of HSA. And if you're working with a group that sets those up, they'll walk you through that. But usually you can still do things like medical, or excuse me, vision and dental, do those. But otherwise you might have to use your HSA first up to the deductible amount approximately, or the high deductible amount, before you could use your medical reimbursement plan, but you can use them both.
I don't know how they track this.
Yeah, right.
And so, I've never seen anybody go under audit on this, but so the IRS is saying basically, we know that if you put money in the HSA and at the same time you're wiping out all your expenses with a health reimbursement plan, that you're going to have a major amount of money in that HSA that you got a deduction for and you will never pay tax on. It's a triple threat. Triple threat meaning you get a tax deduction, tax-free growth, and never pay tax again. It's like a Roth on steroids. Could you imagine if you got a deduction for putting money in a Roth and then it grew and you never had to pay tax on it? That is an HSA. So you absolutely want an HSA. And so they don't want you to sit there and jam a bunch of money in an HSA when you have your company reimbursing every nickel that you spend on health. And so what they're saying is, hey, HSA pays for the high deductible. That's it. It's not the premiums, it's the deductible. So maybe it's, $1,500, 2,000, 2,500, whatever it is. It might have to do that, but you remember you could put $7,000 in these things a year, plus you have a makeup.
Yeah, you're still coming out ahead.
You are coming out ahead. It's just making sure. And I don't know how they track that, guys. I have no idea how they track it. I don't know what they would do if you've
Doesn't mean we're advocating not tracking it, but
no, I don't know anybody that knows.
yeah, I've never. But
we're scouring, by the way,
Yeah.
like we're scouring, like
I put some
we're
time
like, hey, is there anything out there on this that anybody is that's knowledgeable that's really written on it? And they're like, no, you got 3, this thing, that thing, and there's this one over here, and maybe you're supposed to do this, but we really don't know.
Yeah.
And it's always a percentage, and it's this, that, and the other. They just make it a little bit convoluted, probably to scare people out. John says, easy on the think. I got one brain cell left, and it's questionable. Yeah, I can relate. I can relate. Been in the pugilistic arts for a long time. I had a little bit of closed head injury. So, hey, but as long as you're functioning, John, yeah.
You're here today.
Maybe self-directed HSAs. You could still do it. Yeah, it's still the rule, Hazen, that you could do a self-directed. I have a self-directed HSA. And at the end of the day, when you're doing these, there are different categories if you have that health reimbursement plan. So just be on a lookout. Questions, just reach out to us. It's part of your platinum service. So if you're platinum, just say, here's my scenario. We'll research it for you. We'll give you an answer and you can rely on us. And the reason you do that is because you always have somebody else you can blame. And it gets you out of penalties. It might not escape interest if you ever got tagged and we did something wrong, but it keeps you out of the firing line for being the totally responsible party. And that's why you use a group like us. And we're more than happy to look it up for you, find out what the answers are, talk to the people, make sure that we're looking at it, crossing our T's, dotting our I's, and making sure you're getting the best benefit. But those HSAs are a potent vehicle. And they're fantastic. And you should have one. If you can have an HSA, open up an HSA. Even if hey, I could have one through my employer. No, try to get one on your own. Self-directed is the best. What happens when the HSA ends? You're spending it on all medical. And on average, people spend about $200,000 on medical during their retirement. And you can convert it, a certain amount of it, to a Roth. Otherwise, it's going to be taxed. And I think, is there a penalty on it? I always forget whether there's just a penalty or whether there's tax.
Yeah, I don't think it's a penalty after retirement.
After retirement, I think it's just tax. Then it's just treated like an IRA. So like you're not beaten up and you lose the big benefit if you're not using it on medical, but we don't have enough history on it to see whether somebody just gets millions of dollars in the HSA and then they don't use it.
But the geek answer behind this is, remember, you got the deduction 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And that you used that hopefully for some benefit, and that will only continue to snowball.
Yeah, you don't have to disqualify the whole thing. You just take pieces out and you treat it like a 401k or an IRA.
Hey guys, if you like this snippet of Tax Tuesday, then I invite you to click the link and actually subscribe to become a Tax Tuesday member. Every other week we do these live, and you too can ask your questions, and myself and my team will answer your questions on the next Tax Tuesday.